Hey everyone, welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily Nostroza. How are you guys doing? So today I'm going to be sharing advice for incoming analysts or for anybody who is starting a new job in consulting. I'm going to be sharing a few of the things that I learned during the past 3 months since I've started my new job. I think these are really important and key things for you to know now to be able to mentally prepare to go in and succeed at your new job. For those of you guys who are new to my channel, I recently graduated from the University of Southern California, and I also just started my career as an analyst at a large consulting firm. I like to make videos that revolve around my post-grad life and any college and career advice, so if any of those topics interest you, make sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more videos. Alright, so let's jump right into this video with these 7 things that I wish I knew before starting my job as a consultant. So my first tip is to get comfortable with feeling lost. When you start a new project, I can guarantee you that you are going to feel 100% lost. Nobody goes into a project already getting the hang of things. I mean, you're gonna be confused, and that's just what happens when you start a new job and a new project, a new team, and a new client. And you're probably gonna spend the first few days of your project or the first few weeks reading through documentations, trying to understand what is going on. But I want you to know that no matter how much time you spend working or trying to understand, you won't ever get to a point where you're going to fully understand everything. I think it's really important that you learn to accept that you're going to be lost and know that that is okay, but you have to be able to get comfortable with it and also be able to manage situations or circumstances where you're not going to know what's going on. Make sure that you ask appropriate questions at the right time, and a lot of people say fake it until you make it. Especially when you're with a client, you want to act like you're confident and that you know what you're talking about and what's going on. But whenever you're interacting with a client or whenever you're in a large meeting, never say that you don't know. Always say, that's a great question, let me take some time to look further. Tip number 2 is to ask questions because it's the expectation. I say that asking questions is the expectation because you really have to get in the habit of constantly asking questions. I know for some managers, if they see that their analysts are not asking questions, they may think that something is wrong or that they're stuck or that they're too afraid to ask questions. Make sure to ask questions, but also make sure that you're not asking questions every single minute. Try to get as far as you can in your work, and then when you can't go on any further, then that's what you want to stop and ask them, your whole list of questions. Also, don't be afraid to leverage your resources. Feel free to contact another colleague, your buddy, your career coach. If you see that your manager or the person you're reporting to is busy, try to ask somebody else, and then as soon as your manager or the person you're reporting to becomes available, then go ahead and clarify your questions with them. Every time you go and ask your questions, try to have a response ready or a potential answer so you can provide them a suggestion, just to show that you've already taken the time and made the effort to solve the problem yourself, but that you want to confirm and clarify with them first. Tip number 3 is to make sure you understand your role and expectations. As soon as you start a new project, one of the first things that you want to do is set up a meeting with your manager or team lead and ask them what are the expectations. We all want to perform well, but in order to be a good performer, you need to understand what a good performer is. And the roles and expectations will vary project by project. Ask your team lead questions such as, what is expected of me? How would you differentiate between a good analyst versus an excellent analyst? In regard to performance reviews, how would you define someone who earns the highest rating? Also, keep in mind that nobody's going to tell you what you need to do. You're now an adult, you're starting your career in consulting, which is a very competitive job, and you're now responsible for figuring out or asking for advice and information to determine what it is that you need to do in order to be successful. Tip number 4 is to schedule daily, weekly, and bi-weekly check-ins. I recommend scheduling consistent check-ins with your career coach or counselor, your team lead, and then with the person who you're directly reporting to. And your team lead and the person that you're reporting to may or may not be the same person. For me, they were different people, so I scheduled daily check-ins with the person who I'm directly reporting to, weekly or bi-weekly check-ins with my team lead, and then I had bi-weekly check-ins with my career counselor. The purpose of scheduling these check-ins is so that you can keep these people up to date with the tasks that you're doing. It's also an opportunity to ask questions, ask for advice, and also to ask them for feedback. Scheduling check-ins also gives you the opportunity to get to know them better, and it's very important to have good relationships with these people because your team lead who will be giving you the performance review, and then your career coach will also be the person who will be at the round table at year end to determine what performance rating you deserve. So make sure to develop really good relationships with these people. Tip number 5 is to manage your emotions. As you start your new job, things are going to be tough, but you need to remember to not be hard on yourself. As some of you guys saw in my day in the life as a consultant video, I was talking about how at the start I was dealing with imposter syndrome. And the reason I was feeling this way was because things were hard. I wasn't getting things. It wasn't like school where you study really hard and then you get an A. In a work setting, it's different. You can put in as much work as you want, and sometimes you're not going to get the results that you want to see. There were also many instances where I would just feel very dumb, like many times where I just kept doubting myself and just not feeling like my smartest or my best. And this may happen to you. Do the best that you can to overcome these mental barriers. Constantly remind yourself that you are smart and that you are capable and that you got to this job, you earned this job because the company saw something in you and they believed that you would be a good fit, that you would succeed as an analyst or as a consultant. Also make sure to not compare yourself to your peers. Everybody learns at different paces. For example, on my team, I have another colleague and he is excelling at this new software tool that we're learning. And I'm just like, wow, like this guy's picking it up really quick and I'm over here not on the same page as him. But it's okay, you know, he's doing really great and everyone has different strengths and I'm not going to kill myself just because this guy is performing a bit better than me. And I'm constantly reminding myself that with time I will get better and I will learn and I will be just as good or maybe even better than him. It's also important to learn how to manage and deal with different managers and colleagues because everyone has different working styles. There may be a colleague who works a bit differently than you, but don't let that discourage you. You know, don't take it personal. Do your best to manage the situation to have a successful working relationship. All right, tip number 6 is to practice well-being. As many of you guys know, in consulting, people work a lot of hours. And when you first start your job, it's not going to be too difficult because you're very excited and your levels of motivation are very high. But after a month or so, the hours are going to eventually hit you and your motivation levels are going to decline. So in order to keep yourself sane and to keep yourself happy, it's very important that you prioritize your well-being and make sure that you are doing what you gotta do in order to keep yourself happy and energized. So when I first started my job, I was working out, but after some time, you know, I started getting more tired, I stopped working out, and now I've been in my job for 3 months and I basically have not worked out for the past 2 months, which is, for me, it's really bad because I know that when I do work out, I do feel better, I have more energy. So one of my goals for 2021 is to take my well-being more seriously, prioritize it, because obviously nobody's going to prioritize me other than myself, but whatever it is, make sure that you prioritize or set aside time for the things that matter to you. Another thing is to make sure that you take advantage of the well-being programs that your company has to offer. I know with the current circumstances, many companies have many well-being activities, events, initiatives going on, so be sure to participate. And then my last tip is to own your career. So regardless of which first project you get staffed on or what industry or group you get mapped to, make sure that you own your career by maximizing your experience. Make time for the things that you really want to learn or the things that really interest you. Set boundaries for the things that really matter to you. Participate in initiatives that you're genuinely interested in doing. Network with leadership and build meaningful relationships. Foster relationships and trust with people who genuinely care about you and your success. Take ownership of the way you react to situations and make sure that you're getting the most and getting what you want out of all of your experiences. If on your first project you don't get along with a manager or a colleague, don't let that one person dictate your career or make you feel miserable. And just keep in mind that if you don't own your career, if you don't voice what you want, or if you don't do the things that you really want to do, somebody else is going to be owning your career for you, and that's not going to be fun. So at the end of the day, just make sure that you own your career, do the things that you want, do the things that matter to you, because that is what will lead you to a more successful and a happier career. Alright guys, so those are all the pieces of advice that I have. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. If you guys have any questions about consulting or if any of the things that I mentioned today, make sure to drop them in the comment section below. And if you guys want to watch more videos that revolve around my post-grad life and any college and career advice, make sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more videos. I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you guys for watching.